Okay, Conk Economist here, and we've got a road trip that's taken us across the southern states, and we are now in Texas, specifically San Antonio, and we're along the beautiful Riverwalk here. We've been seeing a lot about the economy close up front as we travel along, and I'm going to share that with you. Let's get on it. We began our journey on the morning of Tuesday, June the 23rd, and we left from Stuart, Florida, which is about right here. And our first destination was Tallahassee, the state capital. From there, we proceeded west to Mobile, Alabama, across Mississippi and Louisiana, Baton Rouge, and we crossed into Texas right around Beaumont, went to College Station, spent 3 days there, and visited, among other things, the George H.W. Bush Library. Went on to Austin, Texas, spent 3 days there, very interesting, and spent time going through the LBJ Library. Went on beyond Austin a little bit to Kerrville in the hill country of Texas, very beautiful, and down to San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Galveston, back around to the southern coast here at in Mississippi there at Biloxi, and passed through Mobile, Alabama again, down through past Tallahassee, Lakeland, Florida, and back to Stuart, Florida on 4 weeks later on the 21st of July. Bought a lot of gas along the way, and we saw gas prices go up and down. We could kind of tell what's going on in the Middle East by what was happening at the gas pump, and I'll share those with you also. I'm standing in front of the old Capitol building, which is now a museum. In 1977, a new Florida Capitol building was started, and it's a high-rise, and it sits right behind here. Tallahassee is the state capital. It's a government town. Florida State University is there. Florida A&M University is there. All the Florida offices are there. So most of the people are on a state payroll there. I bought gas there at a Costco station, paid $3.39 a gallon, almost $3.40. Florida has a 40-cent gas tax on regular gas. So on a pre-tax basis, I would have paid $2.99. About an hour west of Tallahassee, near the town of Marianna, are Florida Cavern State Park. It was discovered by accident and developed in the late 1930s by the Civilian Conservation Corps as part of the New Deal. And it first opened in 1942. We stopped and spent some time there. Very interesting and very colorful. Mobile, Alabama was our next major stop. We spent 3 nights there, and we bought the gas there, and gas was a little lower. Alabama has a lower tax, 0.31 cents a gallon, so on a pre-tax basis, we got gas at 2.769, as I figured out here. I-10 was very crowded, and on Mobile, Alabama, I-10 goes through a tunnel and you lose a lane, and so traffic is backed up for a long way on both sides, going east and west on I-10 through Mobile, Alabama. We took a walking tour, saw a lot of old historical buildings. I'm standing in front of one of them right now. We were recommended to go to Wenzel's restaurant, and we did, and it was delicious. Actually, we went there twice to enjoy oysters. We visited the 5 states of Florida, Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, along the Gulf Coast. And these 5 states account for about 20% of the total population. The USA population is right now a little over 349 million. Florida population about 23.5 million. Texas nearly 32 million, 31,700,000. Alabama about 5.2 million, Louisiana 4.6 million, Mississippi just under 3 million. Bought gasoline at a Costco near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the pre-tax price after the tax was $2 and about 89 cents. I-10 was crowded just about all the time. We found traffic to be very heavy, and I did all the driving. Susan was the navigator with the GPS. Our first major stop in Texas was at College Station, Texas, home of the Aggies, the Texas A&M, and also the George H.W. Bush Library, which we visited on 2 different occasions. I found it very interesting, very informative. I had to make 2 trips there to see it all. We are standing in front of the main entry to the library. Both President Bush and his wife and daughter are buried here. One of the exhibits at the Bush Library is a reproduction of the Oval Office, and I am sitting here at the reproduced presidential desk on the reproduced presidential chair. Before visiting Austin, we spent 4th of July weekend at the delightful town of Kerrville, Texas, which is about an hour or so west of Austin. And we were visiting and staying with friends there for 3 nights. And on 4th of July day, which is our anniversary, we got married on the 4th of July, we went to a local racetrack and bet on some racehorses. It was fun, and we even won a little bit. We're standing here at the entry to the racetrack, which was actually the fairgrounds area outside of Fredericksburg, Texas. One of the delightful surprises of the beautiful hill country was the appearance of wineries. There are numerous wineries in this area, and after the horse races, we went to one of the local wineries, and here we are sipping some delicious white wine, which tasted great on a hot Texas day, and Texas was hot. After the 4th of July weekend, we spent 3 days in Austin, Texas, the capital, which was very interesting. We toured the capital and also learned a lot about Texas history, and then proceeded on to San Antonio. Gas was cheaper at the pump in Texas because Texas only has a 20-cent per gallon gas tax. Hello again, the Conch Economist, and this time we're in San Antonio at the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. After leaving San Antonio, we proceeded south to Corpus Christi, right on the Gulf. And here I am on the beach at San Padre Island, which reminded me somewhat of Daytona Beach because the sand is hard packed and you can drive on the beach. In fact, a lot of people do. Corpus Christi is a delightful town on the Gulf and has a definite resort feel to it. A lot of fun things along there to do. Very active and very busy. After Corpus Christi, we proceeded on up the coast to Galveston, which is also a delightful town, does not disappoint, very old and some very handsome old houses there. And we had a delicious dinner at the Fisherman's Wharf. Well, we're heading back to Florida, but not without a stop at Biloxi, Mississippi, the Las Vegas of the South. And it was full, it was busy, and we were in Beau Rivage. We didn't stay there, we stayed at another hotel, but we did have fun here. And Susan did some shopping, got a very nice little coat. This was a very crowded town. Most of the time we did not find the hotels to be 100% full or even close to it, but we did at 2 places, Biloxi, Mississippi, and our next destination, which was Fort Walton Beach, Florida. We bought gas here on July the 18th and paid $3.59 a gallon. Mississippi has a 24-cent a gallon gas tax. Heading east, we exited off of I-10 and headed south to Fort Walton Beach. Well, we're looking out at Fort Walton Beach. There's the Gulf, beautiful white sand, and we are on the 3rd floor of the Beale Hotel here at Fort Walton Beach, which is part of the Hilton chain. We stayed at a number of different hotels during our trip. We stayed at Holiday Inn, Hyatt, Hilton, Best Western, Red Roof, and that way we could experience a number of different hotels. By and large, they were not full with the exception of Biloxi, which I mentioned earlier, and here at Fort Walton Beach, and the traffic here was very heavy. I have turned the camera left or slightly to the north to get another view of the beach. We had a delightful visit here with my granddaughter and her husband, and joined them for a delicious dinner. All right, filling up with gas again. We're in Florida now, so there's 40 cents of gas. The price here is $3.59. Take away the 40 cents, and we're at $3.19. I have found lower prices on this trip. We're at a Casey's here in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. It's Sunday morning, July the 19th. The unemployment rates among the states along the Gulf Coast are generally strong or in line with national averages. The only exception would be Florida, which is somewhat above the national average at 4.7%. The real problem of the economy continues to be higher interest rates and higher inflation. We have been watching that. The 10-year is now at 4.68%, which of course keeps that 30-year mortgage rate in the 6% range. Well, after 4 weeks of traveling and over 3,500 miles, we returned to Stuart on Tuesday, the 21st of July. It's always good to get back home, no matter how much fun you've had traveling. Well, that concludes my program today. Thanks for tuning in and subscribing. We'll see you next time.